next Azir LeBlanc as Nunu gets a ban there away from Carbon.
Yeah, lots of targeted bans at the moment. We've seen a lot of strong junglers and mid laners coming out in this meta, so the particular target bans will leave a lot available, but the Rek'Sai after the Nunu ban, starting to focus on the junglers now.
Yeah, we've got Gragas open there as well. Sejuani also very popular. So Rek'Sai, like you mentioned, there's the other ban. So more junglers coming through in Sudden Fear. What do they want for their last ban here? They've already targeted out 2 different players. So you go for a third, maybe pick on Choo-Choo's in his very big mid lane champion pool. Probably not. We'll see what they want to take away. It's actually Nafa Minky Whale.
Yeah, so they're going to get rid of very specific champions with these bans right now. They don't have a particular role that they're looking to prioritize with that first pick seemingly. They just want to get rid of strong champions on the side of Legacy. And their first pick, they've still got the Gragas available. They've still got an abundance of options to choose from, and they're going to be in a good position. Yeah,
Hecarim the ban there actually, so Legacy respecting the power of that pick. That will leave Sudden Fear with the first pick here. And Pink Bomi saw a lot of Lee Sin, saw a lot of these aggressive junglers, but it is Gragas, of course, in the Cinderhawk meta, and Pink Bomi's been a very strong jungler last season. Couldn't quite make it work with the rest of his team, but very aggressive, lots of kill participation as well.
Yeah, Pink Bomi very experienced in the jungle now, and he's going to pick up one of the only junglers remaining that has that gank presence before level 6, that really devastating gank at about level 4. And taking that away from the side of Legacy is going to leave Carbon with a lot less options of what he can play in the jungle to match the pressure. They might opt for a different playstyle from here.
I mean, we've seen a couple of people take up Lee Sin still, but just a little risky in the Cinderhawk meta. Gragas, of course, slots in perfectly and still gives you that pressure like you mentioned. So Carbon, I don't expect him to go somewhere like Sejuani, and Legacy got quite a bit open to them otherwise, except the jungle pool, which has actually kind of been shredded here with 3 picks or bans.
Yeah, there's a lot of jungle taken away, but you said that does leave a lot of mid open. There's the Azir and the Cassiopeia, which we have been seeing a lot of, and the only real remaining top laner did seem to be Maokai.
Yep.
Taken away.
Yeah, there he is. Maokai there for Minky, and Nautilus presumably for Flying Dew, so not the thresh that we might have expected, but still, you know, a hook champion, a champion that I'm sure has got a lot of practice on.
Oh, definitely. When it comes to hook champions, Flying Dew seems to excel in that area, and being such a tanky line already from the 2 people that we have seen picked here on Legacy, it's going to dictate what the rest of them can be. Their carries can be hyper carries if they want, or they can opt towards the option of even like the Sivir AD carry and have just the run at your face style of comp. So Legacy very open to interpretation thus far. And while we wait for the rest of the picks from Sudden Fear, only having the Gragas doesn't reveal any strategies thus far either.
Yeah, Gragas to me just seems like the best first pick on this patch, so makes sense that Sudden Fear took it away. I do agree with you about Legacy's picks. They're nice and flexible. I like that a lot. And, you know, they add so many tools, but Sudden Fear might just snap off 2 of the best champions on this patch here. It's funny that you mentioned them both as far as first picks go, but Sivir Azir are their second and third.
Well, definitely the priorities, whether they're first pick or not, they did seem to choose Gragas over the rest, and of course taking away the Maokai and the Nautilus are a big priority in themselves. Taking the Sivir and the Azir from them now, it does leave open the Cassiopeia, which seems to be the response pick most of the time that we have seen so far, so would not be surprised if Legacy do opt into the Cassiopeia. And now that the Sivir is picked, they can choose whatever they like. I wouldn't suggest the Urgot perhaps, but Lucian quite good. Now that the Kalista is banned also, maybe the Lucian pick is the next move for Legacy.
I mean, Taliwaka, you mentioned Vayne. Have seen a bit of Vayne into Sivir. It's a bit risky, but as far as the actual duel goes, you will win as Vayne eventually. But as I said, that does come with quite a bit of risk. So Legacy, curious to see where they go. You mentioned Urgot. Tali has played it to decent success, I believe, and Choo-Choo's has plenty of options here as well. Of course, a very flexible mid lane player has Cassio in that champion pool, but it's going to be Urgot and Sejuani actually as their next few.
Yeah, funnily enough, Urgot, the one champion I'd say they would hesitate to pick. They've straight away gone for that one.
I mean, Choo-Choo's could play it.
It could signal a lane swap as well, and Choo-Choo's could definitely play the Urgot. He does have a very diverse champion pool, so up against the Sivir, it's not an easy lane to get through, and a lot of people want to lane swap until they get about level 3 in the tier of the Goddess before swapping back, and maybe that's the plan here from Legacy.
I mean, I like Urgot swapping. As you said, levels are the big sort of hindrance for Urgot in the early stages, so swapping does give you a bit more freedom there. Sudden Fear, of course, do have a couple more picks to make. You kind of already mentioned it, but you can complete this draft with almost any few picks with Sivir. Not as many tanks lying around now with the Maokai gone, so those initiation options may be gone. Actually, Legacy would love a Sivir on their side, but of course, that's been picked away. Shiny's hovering a rumble for his top laner, but they've got a couple more picks to make here. We'll give them a bit more time.
And we did forget to mention at the start of the draft that Shiny is a bit of a Sivir main.
He is indeed.
Not a surprise that they do pick that away, and they're going to lock in the Alistar and the Rumble. That is becoming a very tanky lineup out of nowhere.
I mean, Alistar is the pick that I think is just so tanky. I mean, we've got good damage there, especially on the Magic side with the Azir and the Rumble coming through. Lots of displacement effects as well, especially with the Gragas ultimate. So very high execution actually from Sudden Fear, but when pulled off is devastating.
That's actually exactly right. The fact that their comp is very hard to pull off is because they've got a lot of displacement spells. So they've got the Rumble, who is going to have to hit that equalizer on multiple targets, but then you've got the explosive cast, the Alistar, and even the Azir. They're going to be able to push people away from that equalizer. If it doesn't go to plan, their team comp may not come to fruition as planned.
Wow, a last-minute Tristana pick there. Going to give Tallywacker one of his other favorite AD carries, and it is Live 2 just with Urgot. So I like the Urgot pick. I don't mind the matchup against Azir, and Tallywacker gets, I guess, a decent matchup against Sivir. Kind of untested this one.
Yeah, I'm yet to see how the Tristana performs against the Sivir. Tristana not known for the early strength besides that level 2 cheese with the jump and the explosive shot, which does do a lot of damage. But since the changes, have not seen a whole lot of Tristana being played whatsoever. Into the Sivir, who does a ridiculous amount of base damage at level 2 with the boomerang and the extra shots that come out, constantly pushing minions and keeping a Tristana under the turret. That's where Tristana is notorious for not being able to last hit as well.
Yeah, she struggles there in those situations, so could be a bit tricky in the early levels. A lane swap's actually okay there as well to give Triss some smooth early laning, but this is a champion that I know Tallywacker just really loves. Tallywacker's the kind of player that he likes his, very mechanically intensive champions. He likes to, outsmart his opponents and sort of outplay them, and Tristana's a champion as an AD player that he's really latched onto and says, trust me, this is good.
Definitely. Tally loves to carry the game. He's kind of the unsung hero of Legacy Esports. He sits in the back and you see Carbon in the front, Chuchi's in the front carrying, but Tally's always there doing damage. And being Tristana, the later the game goes, the higher your range is going to be. That complements what Tally wants to do perfectly. He wants to sit at the back and be a bit of a nuisance, but definitely still be relevant and carry super hard in the wings, not directly in the front.
Yeah, I mean, Trist, a lot of changes relatively recently in patches. Very single target focus now with her abilities. You get lots of sort of, they kind of cool down each other when you get to use the Q and E together. But again, very single target, very different style than maybe Tristana players are used to. And you still want to go for more of the resets and be more aggressive. So Tally, I can see why he would like this champion.
Yeah, channeling Cardred even from the finals last year. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this Tristana does perform.
It will indeed, but of course we'd love to hear your thoughts on who you think is going to win in the matchup as well. Get on Twitter and use the hashtag SFWin or LGCWin for Sudden Fear and Legacy respectively, and let us know who you think is going to take the match.
Yeah, it could go either way at this stage based on the draft. Both exceptionally strong while we're talking about that, and both of them seem to be strong at all stages in the game also. I
mean, let's go back to Sudden Fear's comp for a little bit. Yep. We called it execution heavy. That's absolutely true. You got squishy mages. If Rumble or Azir get collapsed on, they really don't fight well outside of the zones that they've created for themselves. So I like a lot what's going on. I actually really like Sivir in this comp. It's weird. Like, you'd look at Legacy and go, okay, Nautilus, Urgot, Sejuani, Maokai, that's a perfect Sivir comp, but it kind of works the same way, right? Where you pop the ulti, and all of a sudden these people that are very reliant on being in the right positions and displacing people can just move through all the chaos that you're creating and get into the right positions. Or maybe more accurately, get away from the Sejuani and the Maokai.
Yeah, well, it can go either way, and it is quite versatile in that respect. Though it's hard to execute the team composition that they have, they've got the Sivir as an enabler who can use on the hunt. They can all get closer, and the Alistar can hit that combo a lot easier because he's moving so much faster. In the alternative, she can pop that. Alistar's going to be able to headbutt people away and get extra move speed potentially, pop the ultimate, maybe not go down. And they do have a lot of disengage, but it's not something that you'd often look at and call disengage. The Equalizer, as an example, you don't look at Rumble's ultimate and think it's used as a disengage tool, but if you throw that down, couple that with on the hunt, no one's catching you.
No, it's just a zone that nobody wants to walk through. I mean, Emperor's Divide is literally impossible at points. Yeah, that's the whole point of the spell. I mean, I'm almost imagining a situation where Urgot kind of swaps someone in, Gragas ult just flies in the middle of the team, and all of a sudden, a million zone control spells goes down, and no one else from Legacy makes it into the back line.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting dynamic in team fights. The way that it wants to go if you were Sudden Fear would be to initiate the fights. You want to catch people out of position. You want the Rumble to put the Equalizer down on top of an Alistar using the Pulverize. We saw that in the last game from Avan. It worked exceptionally when it was pulled off right. And that's what you want to see again. The Emperor's Divide can even, if it's a perfect situation, knock them on top of the Equalizer. It's going to come down to how they initiate the team fights, though, and how it goes in their favor to work for them. If it doesn't, and Legacy get the initiation, if they get the Urgot swap, they're going to be in a pretty awkward position.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side, you look at Legacy's comp, and it's just about the easiest initiation you'll ever ask for. Right to scoring Maokai charges in. We've got Nautilus running through, gets in range of his ultimate. You've got Urgot to swap them in. I'm trying to remember, the mid laner. I lost it already. It is Urgot. I'm missing someone.
Yeah,
it's a Douglas. Sejuani. There we go.
Yes.
Another great initiator as well. Carbon, I think, struggled a bit on the Sejuani, but I can't imagine he hasn't been training it in the offseason.
Yeah, he had a couple of awkward games, I guess, to say the least, and it came down to the ultimates just not being as effective as he would have liked. And no doubt he's had a big time to rest and recuperate and rethink what was I doing wrong. He might have been throwing the ultimates out without actually holding onto it for the right moment, perhaps. And either way, now they've got the Righteous Glory on the Maokai. They've got the Sejuani, who's such a strong enabler with the permafrost. And then you've got this team of an Urgot, a Tristana, a Nautilus even. Everything can follow it up, and they're just going to be running into the face of Sudden Fear, trying to push them down. Their mid game is really strong. It's going to dip a little bit with the Tristana power spikes, but Urgot should be able to push them through that phase with the Manamune finished and really get them to the late game stages where they are still going to be relevant.
Yeah, maybe even the Black Cleaver Urgot we've seen quite a bit as well from Stealthix even, so lots of options here. And we are going to get onto the rift between Sudden Fear and Legacy, and Rusty, I only just noticed when you mentioned it. It's double AD, of course, as well. So mid-game power, that's what Legacy's all about in this game.
Definitely. You might want to see Tallywhacker look to change the item pathing, perhaps, to be a little bit more aggressive with the builds. We've seen some really weird static Shiv Tristanas as an example. And speaking of, that's a big trade in the middle.
That's so much damage from Tallywhacker. That explosive charge at level 1. And poor Shiny, without a spell shield, not winning that trade.
No, not going to be able to beat a Tristana who has a damage spell at level 1. Sivir opting for the damage, but it's not going to be as effective as that explosive shot, especially not when you get 4 auto attacks prior to using it.
Yeah, max up that charge, chunk out the Sivir, and that is going to force Shiny back, but didn't have to use a summoner spell. Wards down in the mid lane for both sides as well, and we can look across the river there, completely shallow neutral vision, so nobody trying to get deep wards at this stage.
Yeah, that's right. Neutral vision across the board. They're not looking to do anything overly aggressive, no massive invades, because they know that the other team will spot them. So they're going to do quite standard starts. We'll see if they look to do a lane swap here on the side of Legacy, as Flying Dew and Tallywhacker do walk into the top lane. Because the wards are neutral, they're not going to be able to spot this lane swap from happening. The prediction has not come out, and it looks like we're going to get a 1v2 situation.
Yeah, Flying Dew already there with the Trist, like you said. In fact, going to help Carbon there as well as he starts on the top side of the jungle. Smart to start on this side as well in case they want to invade, but might even get a chance to diagonally invade if it's a little long way to get there. But we'll see what happens. I do like that they got the swap. I think Tristana just wants to get baby through her early level. She craves experience as well as an AD carry.
Yeah, and it's also good to lane swap into the Rumble because it tends to starve the Rumble away, and the last thing you need is a Rumble doing a lot of damage in the mid-game stages, especially as a double AD comp where you're looking to spike in the mid-game.
Yeah, absolutely, as Flying Dew, great pressure there as well. Actually forces them off the blue buff, so Carbon might actually get just some position over there as well. And Sudden Fear completely blindsided by the lane swap, it seems, as Flying Dew going to join Tallywhacker back in the top lane.
Yeah, they're just going to sit here and they're not trying to zone Robo Santa away. They're looking to push it in a little bit harder. You can tell by the way they've accrued 3 caster minions to help them out on this, so they're going to have about 6 minions pushing that wave. It's going to be enough to get the tower down a bit. And Choo-Choo's is putting some hurt on. Yeah,
good trade there for Choo-Choo's. Lands the last Acid Hunter there as well without the lock on as Carbon. Coming to the top side, this might just be a dive here onto Robo Santa. Level 2 Rumble, Flying Dew going to line it up. He's level 1, walks under the tower, going to get it in there. Explosive charge off, and Robo Santa well and truly dead. Tallywhacker jumps in, and that's first blood.
Even Minky Whale coming in at the very end just to make sure that he was going to go down. Tristana picking up the first blood. Tallywhacker now getting a free lane, free experience, and a kill to boot. He's going to be a very big Tristana when he starts spiking.
Yeah, Flying Dew going to recall. Carbon actually takes away the blue as well. We have had Sudden Fear respond by going to the blue and now the dragon. So smart pathing to make sure they get the objectives that's on their strong side of the map. But First Blood's bad news. It might have been lose the turret quickly. And this is a risky dragon. They're taking a lot of damage. But thankfully no one's in the area.
This should be a safe dragon. There's no real way for Legacy to contest. They did see 4 of them at the top side diving that turret. And they safely made the decision on the fly, reactively, to take this dragon. It's going to go down at 3 minutes 45.
Yep, juggle the aggro nicely there as well. That was the risky part, I guess, is what I meant, is that Dragon does do a lot of damage still, but Robo Santa back in the top side. Tally not quite able to get the turret, but now trading nicely. Level 3, actually. Great Flame Spitter there. Going to pop the Scrap Shield as well. Starts whacking him with the overheated shots, but Tally just going to stay safe and chug his potion.
Yeah, small mechanical error there from Robo Santa, actually overheating on the shield instead of overheating with the Flame Spitter. And I think he was trying to time it to the perfect amount of scrap. Unfortunate. And Tally's going to be able to walk away quite healthily after that.
Yep, Ju coming up to the top side as well, so they're going to start to take away that tower that they did so much damage to already. And Shiny actually getting bullied a bit by Minky Well. Good trades there with the spells.
Yeah, so it seems as though both top laners are now winning almost their respective lanes in a 1v1 situation up against the AD carries, and that is to be expected. So look to see how the supports come back now and have an impact on the lane. Instantly, both of the respective top laners back off a lot.
Yep, Nautilus is in the top side. Partu on Alistar back down to the bottom there as well. Carbon looking maybe for another invade, but doesn't quite go too aggressive. Choo Choo's level 5 now as the top turret goes down. Legacy going to claim the first turret here in this game, and already off to a flying start as far as gold goes. Already actually almost 2,000 gold ahead.
And this is the position you want to be in when you're the one using the lane swap. You do sacrifice the first dragon. That's something that you're always going to have to give up, but Choo Choo's is positioning himself so aggressively right now.
That is aggressive, but I think Carbon's been spotted out. They were checking maybe for another dive. Swap not quite there for Choo Choo, so a bit tricky. And Carbon been doing all this ganking, actually only level 3 so far. Trying to get another buff here, struggling to get the red as Pink Bomi looks to take it away, but he's going to try something here.
He has the ward on the buff, and he's going to walk around now. There's no vision from a Pink Bomi. He might be able to smite this away while Gragas is unaware.
Oh, smites it too early. Carbon steals it away. Very clever stuff.
That was a small miss smite there from Gragas. I'm not sure what Carbon was expecting to happen. In fact, I thought he was going to dash in there to secure the buff. A miss smite gives him the red buff, and that level 3 is going to become level 4 quite soon.
Yeah, very soon there. Got the Grump up in his own jungle to take if he wants it. Choo Choo's now level 6 there with the Crystalline Flask, so plenty of regen has actually forced Christmas Trees back with just a Forbidden Idol. So aggressive pressure, 45 to 20 CS. That's not what I expected in this lane.
And this is a super aggressive Urgot. We've seen the positioning that Choo Choo's has taken since level 1. It's directly in the face of Christmas Trees. You can tell by this Forbidden Idol pickup as they're actually going to dive bot.
They're going to go back for another dive hit. Teleports are coming through. It's 4v4 right now. Pink Bomi here as well. Tallywhacker actually just getting some shots into the turret, but Choo Choo's is rotated down. He is level 6. Damage comes through. Partu getting junked out.
Minky using that flash at the last second, getting headbutted away from the turret. Extremely close and well done from him. And I think they instantly regretted that dive.
Yeah, Shiny in trouble. There's the explosive charge coming down again. Damage almost enough there for Tallywhacker. I'm surprised he didn't flash in for that, but Summoner spells up. Shiny has to play so safe now.
That explosive shot is a surprising amount of damage. In fact, if Tally was feeling cute, he could have put that onto the turret and maybe auto-attacked for a last hit. Shiny might not have been aware, and they're controlling the map quite convincingly right now. They didn't even get the dive off, and they're still in a good position. To touch back on the point I was making before about Christmas Trees, he's opted towards the Forbidden Idol, and this is a sign that he's not looking to fight the mid lane. He's not looking to contest it at all. And this is up against the tier first Urgot. He's got enough money now to get a pickaxe with it. Azir in a bad position.
Yeah, not the spot you want to be in. Already down in CS. Choo Choo's comes back after a bit of a late shot there, and is still 10 CS ahead. Goes back in, misses the lock-on, but just goes in instead, and Christmas Trees can't fight, especially in short range. Yeah, that's not where he wanted to go. Great swap there by Choo Choo's. Christmas Trees uses the cleanse, but he has to dodge so many Acid Hunters here. Dodges the first, dodges the second. Choo Choo says, all right, stuff this. Flashes in and autos.
Choo Choo's giving up. It's not going to be a little mini game to hit the spell. He's going to flash and secure the kill, and he's got a 1v1 in the mid lane, as if it wasn't going bad enough for Christmas Trees.
Yeah, you can see the positioning. I mean, Christmas Tree is just going to struggle on the Azir when he can't set up as Tallywhacker gets low there. Partu going in aggressive, flying judo, peels off with the passive, and good aggression coming through. Tallywhacker has to be a bit careful.
He does have the experience advantage though. Tallywhacker is level 6 and it's only level 5 and 4 on Partu and Shiny. He could fight once he gets a little bit of the health back from that health pot, but if Sivir keeps chunking him out like we're seeing, he's not going to be able to fight.
Good combo there as well. Ignite down as well. Tallywhacker has to back away. Does have his spells back up. Heals ready as well. They might actually try and bait him in there. Teleport going to come through there. Pink Bomi though in the area. Minkuel comes in. Takes out Partu, but now has to run away. Getting low on health, but Pink Bomi not enough damage.
Minkuel coming up massive with that teleport timing. Robo Santa has no teleport to answer, and they pick up the free kill. Nobody going down from Legacy, and Tallywhacker was low. He baited that quite well.
Yeah, had his summoners actually just used his heal. Didn't even need to use the flash or the ultimate. So smart stuff there as Christmas Trees starts to walk back into his lane, but Choo-Choo's hasn't even shot yet, just trimming the wave. And again, this is not the matchup I expected against Azir to work out quite well, but I like the theory here from Choo-Choo's, and the practice seems okay as well.
Well, it's also very difficult to play against someone like Choo-Choo's who is in your face with this aggression that you're not often used to feeling, and he puts you in an awkward position where you need to trade with him. But it's so hard to do it because he is an Urgot in this situation, hitting all of these Acid Hunters without even hitting the E first. They're not even poisoned. Yeah,
I mean, Carbon coming in there. Actually, now it's a Robo Santu. Might have to use the Equalizer to get out of the situation. Does have his flash ready to go, but Minkyuel charging in. Late flash, but does get out safely. And back towards his... Nope, I was going to say turret, but it's already dead.
Yeah, not going to go back towards that turret. The lane swap giving them the early turret, and they do have themselves about a 3,000 gold advantage right now from these objectives that they are securing.
That's a big lead, honestly, at just under 10 minutes. Carbon even going to take away the blue buff there as well. Dragon is back up. Sudden Fear might be able to get on top of that, but going back to that mid lane matchup, I agree. Azir's normally the one that punishes other people with auto attacks in lane, but you can't stand toe-to-toe from Urgot, especially when he's always in 400 ranges. Carbon, it's very sneaky, takes out that blue buff, and he's level 5, almost level 6, but he's been low level for quite a while in this game.
Yeah, he's been spending a lot of his time denying the jungle of the Gragas right now. He's being in a bad position, I guess, in terms of getting experience and farm, and Sejuani's want to get level 6 as soon as possible, but Carbon sacrificing that completely, looking to deny the jungle of a Pink Bomi and get in his face and stop him. We saw the red steal, we saw him just around the blue buff right there, and forcing a lot of control around where Carbon might be is distracting away from the fact that Choo-Choo's is destroying mid lane right now. Tallywhacker is able to freely fight with Flying Dew in the bot lane and at least have a crack at a 2v2. May not be working out in their favor, but they are freely able to do so.
I mean, Minkyuel's ahead in CS there as well, and we give Carbon a bit more credit. He's been so aggressive. You remember the dive, all the work he's done as Shiny. Next target here, actually Pink Bomi is around as well. Tallywhacker getting CC'd up. Ulti coming through, does just land onto Flying Dew, but a good flash keeps him safe.
The downside of Gragas is always the risk on using the ultimate. If they have flash available, they tend to save that flash until it knocks them to safety, and we see it happen again there.
Yeah, kind of get damage boosted away and just fly off to safety as Carbon. Level 6 now going to look in. Choo-Choo's level 9. Jeez, that's scary. Pink Bomi going to get slowed up there. Lock-on lands ulti from Carbon, and that's doesn't even need the ulti, but uses it just in case.
I think Choo-Choo's is using it as almost like an insult to say, well, you're already dead. I may as well just swap you back so that I'm in a closer position to get this red buff. And there goes another kill to Choo-Choo's.
I mean, again, Carbon aggression is going to go for another dive in the bottom side. Shiny could be in trouble. Good hook just misses there for Flying Dew. Teleport again there from Robo Santa, but Shiny gets the charge on Tallywhacker. That's too far forward. Ignite is down. Needs one more hit. Good block from Choo-Choo's, but it's not enough. Part 2 does get the kill with Ignite, and Christmas Trees is down as well.
The Ignite securing the kill there from Part 2, and Christmas is being really aggressive, but he doesn't have the items just yet to put himself in a position. They might look for this dragon. That'll be the second dragon in favor of Sudden Fear if they do pick this one up. They've at the very least got control of the area, and they need something. They need a kind of a win condition to get them back into feeling like they're in control in this game while forcing Legacy to make rotations they don't want.
I mean, Minky, unfortunately, is in the top side for Sudden Fear, so pressuring the turret means Pink Bomi has to go back. Part 2 finds Flying Dew, but just kind of tickling him there with a Polarize, buying time for Robo Santa to take the turret. So turrets do equalize. Minky will be kept at bay here by Pink Bomi, and again, going back to junglers, Pink Bomi just been run around here by Carbon, and he might have hit level 6 quite late into this game, around 10.5, 11 minutes, but all his early pressure, sacrificing a lot of what he could do, playing almost more like Elise than Sejuani. He's got an early sidestone before he's finished his Cinderhawk. It might not be a Carbon champion, but he's playing it like it's one of his old school champions.
Well, we know that Carbon likes playing Elise, so not a surprise to see him with that invade style playstyle. Being Sejuani, you don't often expect it, and it does take you by surprise as they...
Shiny! Just missing it there.
Get the dragon.
Yeah, Urgot actually gets it. Carbon did not have smite, so that was a good attempt there by Shiny, but as it is, Legacy will equalize the dragons as well.
Good coordination to stop hitting it though and let the Sivir use the boomerang before finishing the dragon off, acknowledging that there was no smite available rather. They're going to be able to get the dragon essentially uncontested only with the small steal attempt, and Sudden Fear have made the rotation mid.
Yeah, I mean, they have to try and get some more room in this game. So 4-man mids, very nice stuff. Pink Bomey goes in, Choo-Choo's gets altered, but Depth Charge will keep them at bay. Pink Bomey gets knocked back. Partu might be in trouble. Yeah, they are going to fight him. Minky flanked around the side. He's actually teleported down to the mid lane, I believe. Pink Bomey's going to be the first target. They'll go right in. No, just missing for the Q. Minky going to keep flashing forward. Equalizer comes down from Robo Santa to try and keep them around. Choo-Choo's little too low. Minky peels off. Very strong positioning there with the ultimate. Carbon's in as well. Just diving in onto Robo Santa and Choo-Choo's keeping them interested, but somehow nobody is dead.
Lots used, no deaths.
Yeah,
Tallywhacker is splitting in the bot lane, though. That is worth noting. They're going to be able to get this turret, I think. They're going to rotate, but will Tally be able to get it before going down? He should be fine. A lot used in mid, but no one actually going down. You have to give a lot of credit to Minky Whale. The way that he just turned around, he didn't get greedy for the kill on a Pink Bomey. They disrupted him completely, and he said, well, you know what? I'm going to peel for my team instead. He kept Choo-Choo's alive by the smallest amount, and they were able to disengage after that.
And I think Tallywhacker demonstrates the other nice thing, although we'll check this fight out again.
So we can see Minky Whale going for the kill on a Pink Bomey, unfortunately missing the Q. The Rumble Equalizer comes down, and Choo-Choo's is in a bad position. You see how Minky Whale, Carbon, they use their ultimates as a form of disengage to just push them all back and give the rest of his side enough room to escape, and they do successfully get out after an initiation gone wrong.
Yeah, and you know, apart from nobody going down, a good 4v5 hold there by Legacy gives Tallywhacker a chance. And one thing Nutristana does do well is shred through turrets when she's alone.
Yes, it's almost akin to Sivir, you might say. The amount of damage with that explosive shot that it does to the turrets is absurd. And we've seen Tally splitting for the most part. Got the top turret, both bottom turrets, and now pushing in the mid lane. You can tell they're trying to accelerate the mid game with 280 carries as the blue does go to Minky Whale.
Yup, Minky, good steal. That keeps the blue. Twisted advance to the Scuttle Crab as well. Very cute stuff, but Choo-Choo's level 10 now on the Urgot. Manamune done. Hex Drinker completed there as well. Already arrived at Glory Dawn. That's so fast for this Maokai. I mean, you said mid-game power here. Legacy already have their mid-game items completed.
Yeah, and it's worth noting at the same time, because the Hex Drinker is done by Choo-Choo's, he's looking to get some more effective combat stats against the Rumble, against the Azir, even the Gragas to a degree and the Alistar to a degree. It's such a smart pickup and very good reactive item buy based off their team comp. We've got a lot of we've got the Infinity Edge finished, in fact, and Berserker Greaves from Tristana. And look at the gold differences right now in the top lane. It's 1,000 almost.
Yeah, 1,000 in the bottom lane there. Minky ahead. Even Carbon actually really ahead there as well, 1,000. In fact, it's about 4,500 gold ahead for Legacy, and that's basically distributed from the top 4 laners.
Yeah, and it's 3-2 in turrets and 4-1 in kills. So the fact that that gold lead is as big as it is comes down to not a massive amount of difference in the CS, but it's still there and it's definitely noticeable, and it's starting to affect about half of that gold difference.
Yeah, just a couple of those kills coming in as well. In fact, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look massive in some of the lanes, but you add up, you know, 20, 15, maybe 25.
Oh.
There, it makes up massive ult, though, landing in there. Pink Bomey gets shredded. Tristana takes the turret out in Legacy. Look for initiation, but that was almost a Gragas-esque Sejuani ult to take the turret.
I love how they took the turret. The Sun turret comes up straight away. So you didn't actually take the turret. It's just mind games. And that was a really good Sejuani ult. It seems Carbon has been having some practice, and he's turned it on a little bit straight away just to get the turret. And this seems to be the massive focus that Legacy are putting on this game, is get objectives as quickly as possible, as fast as possible, and snowball the game from the towers even.
And this is why the double AD comp with Tristana is so awesome from this team. You can just sit in lanes together, group just 4, maybe group just 5, and just siege anything when you're this far ahead.
Yeah, definitely. The Tristana is almost a sleeper pick in that regard for being able to push turrets down. Most people, if I said, what is an AD carry that pushes turrets down quickly? You'd look to Sivir straight away. You would say that the Sivir is the ultimate pushing machine as they're going on Christmas trees.
Yeah, Christmas trees. Minky Whale dodging the ulti there. Choo-Choo's with the damage, and a very nice gank gives him another kill.
And a great twisted advance, dodging that ultimate from Christmas trees, not able to stop him from coming in, securing another kill. And even though they're getting the kill, it's not going to give them this ridiculous amount of map pressure. They're just going to continue to split push with Tallywhacker. He wants turrets.
He does.
That's all he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good early AD, got his Berserker Greaves up as well. We already talked about it. You kind of get double scaling off the Q and E, because when the explosive charge is on, your Q and your E cooldown go down when they're both active. So you just shred through turrets when you get like alone time with them in Legacy. They're split pushing, like you said, trying to get this turret. Don't quite get it as Partu dives in as well, but Flying Dew rotates back in just to make sure his team's okay.
It's weird that they're putting Sivir up against the Tristana, because the later that this game starts to go, Tristana level 10 now, that range is starting to get quite high. And Siva's a medium to low range style AD carry, not exactly going to be able to keep up. Going to be able to have the wave clear. But if Tristana can push past the minions and get in your face, it's quite difficult for you to stop her from being able to out-trade you. Yeah,
it's also kind of an uneven trade-of experience there as well. Tallywacker, I think part of the reason he's solo in so many lanes is just to soak up solo experience. As long as they've got good wards down and they've got decent vision at least on the bottom side here, Tally can feel safe, get his wards up, flash ulti there for Choo-Choo's. Robo Santa just gets clipped by the ulti, but it's not enough for the stun. Great equalizer down from Robo Santa, but Tristana doing the damage. Robo Santa gets dove on. It's just too much here, and Choo-Choo's, he is so much mid-game damage for this team.
Choo-Choo's hitting that level 11 spike. The resistances he gets after using the hyperkinetic position reverser is just immense, and there's no way for them to really answer that at the moment. Even with the ultimates not fully available, they didn't have the explosive cast. They had the equalizer down pretty much on top of him. He just casually walks out with all of his health available. Even with Carbon missing the ult, still a good trade for them.
Yeah, extra range helping as well as Part2 goes down. Choo-Choo's ridiculous damage now on a pink. Bomi Carbon does get low, but Choo-Choo's is unrelenting in his pressure, just going in the face of 2 carries and almost taking them out. Minkuel trying to dive in on a pink. Bomi does find the flash. Twisted advance into Arcane Smash will leave somebody with the kill. Tally, he wanted it so bad, but it's Carbon that gets it. And Choo-Choo's still going. 1v2.
That was an interesting interaction with the explosive cask. I feel like it hit everyone, but it didn't actually knock them in any particular direction. They just stayed there and picked up the Gragas kill. So I guess unfortunately he must have knocked them into the terrain directly next to him. And Choo-Choo's is a monster.
Yeah, I mean, 5-0-1, talking a lot about how cool the Tris pick is, and Tally, he's having a fine game, but it's nothing like Choo-Choo's, who goes back and gets a Last Whisper. A little sad to not see a Snowball Black Cleaver, but Last Whisper will just about do the job.
Yeah, I think it'll still achieve the main purpose of what Urgot's looking to do, and that's get as much armor penetration as possible and be in the faces. He doesn't really need to go for the Black Cleaver, doesn't need the health, doesn't really need to reduce the armor of other people. They've got enough damage anyway, and Tristana doesn't necessarily need that help from the Urgot because Tristana is split pushing and giving them objective gold for the Urgot to carry.
Yeah, I mean, and Choo-Choo, as you can tell, in the mid-game, while Tallywacker is getting a bit stronger, trying to push some turrets, get the solo levels going up, Choo-Choo's just ripping through people already. I mean, Urgot mid was something that I thought we were going to see a lot more of when Urgot started to get more popular again, but apparently people didn't fancy the matchups too much. But it was a brilliant pick here in this draft, and Choo-Choo's playing it just wonderfully.
Yeah, it's interesting. Whether the matchup is favorable for the Urgot or not, people still tend to be lane swapping the Urgot out, and it still has this massive amount of relevance anyway. So picking the AD carry seems to almost be, aside from Siva, irrelevant as to what you pick into the Urgot, because Urgot as a champion is just so strong and even flexible in the pick order. We see that it was picked before Tristana and placed mid because they wanted the Trist instead.
Yeah, and we mentioned like lane swaps for Urgot. If he was going to be Tallywhacker's champion, why do you swap? You need to get through your early levels. You need to get a bit more extra gold. Mid lane does that for you. It's a short lane. You can be safe. You'll get guaranteed experience. It's just, you get the same benefits without having to actually swap as Tally. Goes into Robo Santos, getting caught out. Minky Bell with the damage, and that was a lot of damage as Minky gets the kill.
Not even needing to use the ultimate there, Tristana. Going to give the kill over to Minky Whale, apparently. Not even sure how he got that. Must have been like a sapling.
Yep, I think just some stray damage coming in. And I don't know if I've seen Tallywacker ult once this entire game. He's just busy charging up on the turrets and doing so much single target damage.
Now we can see how much damage he's doing now. That's another turret in the top lane going down. All of the outers except for the middle now have no turrets available. The inners even. All of the outers are gone.
Yeah, well and truly gone as 5 turrets down. Part2 going in, actually just headbutts away because Tristana far too strong at this stage of the game. Part2 does not pull the trigger on the ultimate, but Shiny well and truly relegated to wave clear duty at this point.
Now, good of Part2 to not waste that ultimate, knowing that he didn't need to use it just yet because the rest of the Legacy side are in fact pushing the mid lane. All of a sudden, Fear are here now, and if ever there was a moment where you feel the need to fight, it's going to be coming up soon. You do not have a whole lot of turrets left. The gold lead hitting 10,000 now, starting the stretch to almost unreachable amounts. They're going to have to find a trigger to pull.
Yeah, I mean, 23 minutes in, 10,000 gold behind. A bad spot here for Sudden Fear, and we called their comp execution heavy. Unfortunately for them, it's very reactive. They've got great options in choke points, but most of their hard engage just comes from Sivarol into Alistar, and when you're behind, their option's not that good because Part2, when that ult drops, when he doesn't have it up, he will die instantly charging in.
Yeah, and a lot of times when the trigger was pulled, they had the Sivir ult used, and it was the Gragas ultimate trying to initiate for them to get in range of the Alistar. they would just flash to the other side of the explosive cask and they would be pushed to safety. So perhaps the Gragas is the thing that they may need to rethink from here on.
Maybe. I mean, Gragas is a fine pick, but Carbon played so aggressively, getting a Sightstone before finishing his Cinderhawk as Robo Santa, the next target here. Flying Juice found him. Tallywhack has got damage, and apparently does want the kill. Explosive Charge finishes it off.
Cool guys don't look at explosions, right? So they're going to let him walk away and just let him die to the explosive shot. The lead's starting to stretch now, 10-1 in kills, and they're going in again.
Ulti missed there from Carbon, but don't think we'll give him too much for that one. Doesn't matter at this stage. Going. Oh, the ulti there as well. Does land in. Pink Bomi. Just the damage from the 280 carries is too much. Ignite is down. Tally needs a hit. Does find the last one. Pink Bomi almost giving up there, and Flying Jew going to dive his way in. Looks for an ulti. Doesn't have one. Never mind, so can't use it. And Legacy at this point, Sun turret's up. Tallywhacker dispenses of it. And they might just look for Baron if they even need it at this stage.
They don't necessarily need the Baron, and I suppose it's a flight risk to consider going for it, but they're so far ahead at the moment that they're going to do exactly what they are now and group up as 5, sit near the Baron at the very least, and start it when they know they haven't reacted quick enough.
Oh, Partu's here as well. They will spot him out. Flying Jew insta-hooks him there. The ultimate's on for Alstar, but it's not going to last long enough here. The damage will come back down. The ulti will wear off fairly soon. Shiny getting chased up by the support. Tallywhack is busy getting a kill. Does do so. Minky great flank on the Christmas trees. He's forced to flash away, and Robo Santa uses his ulti already. Christmas trees trying to get out of it, but Minky flashing forward. Flying Jew looks for a hook, doesn't get it. Minky dives in onto Robo Santa now after his ear's gone down. That was a stupid amount of damage, and Legacy 3 clean kills.
Just so far ahead now, in excess of 12,000 gold, going in favor of Legacy. They can pick any team fight that they like at this stage and assume that it's going to go in their favor. Sudden Fear have the team to try and turn it around, but it is so mechanically difficult to execute as 5, and given that the gold lead is so big, it becomes less and less realistic that it's going to go in their favor, and Legacy starting to pull way too far ahead now as they get the first inhibitor. Yeah,
they've just had such a dominant and accelerated mid-game. You mentioned it, double AD carry, that absolutely signals mid-game power, and Legacy have just run over Sudden Fear with their power they've had. Tallywhacker, level 13 with his IE and Phantom Dancer, going to go down and pick up some more minions.
Yeah, it seems Tally definitely has been playing a lot of Vayne games apparently. He loves his split pushing and just getting extra experience and being the solo hero. It's working quite well for them here on the side of Legacy.
I mean, he used to be a top laner. Maybe he just misses it.
Yeah.
Misses his home in the top lane where he split pushes on Riven all day. Dragon is back alive there as well, so Legacy can go to pick it up if they want it. Movement barely helpful in a situation where they're trying to close in on multiple structures, but Sudden Fear holding on. Got decent wave clear with a Azir Rumble, I guess with just the ulti and Sivir there as well, but at this point, Legacy might just look for a dive. Even Carbon looking down fairly tanky. Minky is a beast at this point on Maokai.
They're most likely going to take that move speed buff, go back and get control of the Baron area, and either force Sudden Fear into another really bad position where they have to contest the Baron, let Minky split push perhaps, or they can make him rotate and just force bad situations continuously onto the Sudden Fear lineup while they have this massive power spike from the double AD comp.
Yeah, they're going to get onto the Baron, and why not at this stage? Like we've said, it's pretty much free at this stage of the game with all the earlier work that they've done in this game. Tallywhack is on top of it, will do good damage there to the Baron as well, and they're actually being a little awkward with their positioning here, taking it a little too slowly. Yeah, I mean, Carbon too low. Choo-Choo's was not in the pit, but Partu might be the target. Shiny spell shields that ulti though from Nautilus. Minky diving into the back. Partu a little too low. Good 3-man ulti there from Carbon. Pink Bomi gonna get locked down as well. Double kill there for Choo-Choo's. Not gonna be the Quadra sadly, although Rumble does get the trade onto Tally, but 3 for 1, not a good trade for Sudden Fear, and Choo-Choo's, he just doesn't stop.
This is Choo-Choo's house at the moment. They're getting too close to the Baron pit, and that's where he lives. So they are trying as a desperation attempt to stop the Baron, but because they have no control of the Baron area, they're putting themselves in bad, awkward positions to face check it to see if they are actually doing the Baron in order to steal it. And it's just very awkward. Even with Carbon being at the exact health that he is now at the start of that fight, did not go in favor of Sudden Fear because they could not get all of the numbers in a good position to enable a great team fight. Very hard execution comps with this big of a deficit. So hard to pull back from.
They're always going to be tricky, and we've seen Sivir win so many games recently, here in the OPL especially, and one of the big things with Sivir is that you're always better going forward fighting with your tanks. It's not the same team comp that we've seen a lot of Sivers be successful around, and it's just fine in this comp, and Shiny's a great Sivir player, but maybe not enough in this situation. As Tallywhacker is a bloodthirster now as well.
Yeah, Tallywhacker 6-2-6, and Shiny, to his credit, definitely keeping up in farm right now. He's 0-0-2, so he's doing everything he can. It's just that he's not going to be able to put the rest of the team on his back at this stage in the game and say, come on guys, it's time to win.
I mean, they're going to keep pushing now as well. Sudden Fear have to really keep that morale together here if they're going to try and make something happen. It'll take a miracle or two at this stage of the game, but Legacy finally decided it's time to push in onto the base with the Baron buff, and Tally almost level 16 now on this Tristana. Just watch if he gets onto a turret solo. It will melt.
He should be able to attack the turrets from quite a range, and they're going to have to pull the trigger straight away here, Sudden Fear. Look at that. If they want to save this, they need to go very soon.
Explosive charge down there as well. Does a massive chunk. Carbon going to dive in. Looks for Shiny as his next target there. Doesn't pull the trigger on the ulti. Patu too deep there in the backline's trying to initiate, but does pop his ulti. Might keep safe for now. Pink Bomi dives in. Two-man ulti. One lands on a Shiny. Swap there coming through. That's the Sivir going down. Christmas Tree's trying to kite them. Flying Jew diving into the turrets there on top of Robo Santa. He pops his Zonius, but that's a double for Chuchi's. Maybe going to make it a triple as he gets out of the way there somehow by... I think he got hit away, but Legacy managed to take the Nexus turrets out. They've broken the base in a one fell swoop. That's game.
Yeah, Tristana knocking him away, and just the front line, the cluster of Legacy members all doing so much damage as a group, going to be able to push them out of their own base and secure what seemed like a very convincing victory for Legacy eSports.
Got the last kill there as well. So finished the ace as the Nexus exploded, and you know what? That's why I didn't figure out what ability knocked him back, because that was the only time I saw Tally use his ultimate.
Yeah, I think it was the first time in the entire game that Tally actually used his ultimate. I guess he didn't need it when he was only hitting turrets.
Yeah, I mean, he was, exactly, just split pushing, hitting away on the turrets, and we might see a bit of that as we are going to have a replay now of the last game. Thankfully, hopefully, it's not Tallywhacker split pushing turrets.
So this is one of the more interesting team fights, I suppose, at this stage in the game, and look at the difference in levels before we even roll the clip. Tallywhacker,
he's actually
split pushing in the bot lane. Choo-Choo's level 10 compared to the rest of the side. So we'll roll the clip. You see, they're trying to siege this turret. It was just after a dragon, I believe, they made this rotation, and it's a 2v4 at the moment. Look how convincingly that they're actually able to defend this. They go so deep to stop them from being near the turret so they can take it. And Choo-Choo's and Nautilus here flying, and you just say no. Minky comes in with the teleport gank, tries to secure a kill, and then they realize that this position, though they thought it was good once the equalizer comes down, not so great. They need to get out. Instantly, Sejuani Minky Way will start peeling, and this is really a good example of the synergy that Legacy have and the shot calling and how they all go for the one move at the same time.
Yeah, and there were no kills there in that fight. They just started a 2v4. Eventually, it was a 5v4 in favor of Sudden Fear, and I said it before, I do want to see Tallywhacker split pushing the bottom lane. We didn't get to see it, but that's what he was doing.
That was pretty much exclusively what Tally was doing and accruing a lot of global gold for the rest of his team. And Choo-Choo's massive, did so much work in that game. Carbon even invading as a Sejuani. All around, Legacy looked very strong. That
was great to see. I think Carbon deserves a highlight there because that was the same aggressive counter-jungling Carbon that we've seen on a tank champion.
Yeah, on Sejuani is just the weirdest thing to see, invading against the Gragas. But hey, he made it work, so why not?
Yeah, he did indeed, and a great game there for Legacy. We are, of course, going to go into our next match. We'll take a quick break, but when we return, it'll be Absolute versus the Direwolves.